You cannot hide, Mario. I will find you. Mario, we're sorry for this, but you must know it was necessary.
Who are you?
We are ancient beings of the Order of Light, followers of the Elders and the need for balance in the universe.
What's happening now? Where is this place?
We are in your mind, Mario, but more will be revealed to you in time. First, you must listen. Tsitak is a corrupted form of us, and although Tsitak possesses the power to be in your dreams and to weaken your resolve, force you to dream against your will, you ultimately control your own mind. You must fight this reality. You must break free. The universe depends on it.
If this is all in my mind, why are you here to help? Why should I believe that you aren't a trap?
Because, Mario, unlike Tsitak, we have always been in your mind since the day you were created.
What do you mean, created? Do you know who my biological parents are?
Of course we do, Mario, and we'll explain everything. But first you must break the grasp of Tsitak before all is lost.
Excuse me for being skeptical, but why should I even help you? I looked everywhere for my parents. Nothing. And you seem to be what this Tsitak wants from me. I don't know if I could handle this anymore. Why shouldn't I just let this Tsitak know you're here to end all this madness?
Don't let Tsitak break you. You will be messed with and shown things to mess with your emotional well-being. You must be strong and listen before it's too late.
Too late. You've done well, Mario.
Tsitak. We knew we'd meet again when we used the dream machine. It had an unintended side effect to allow us to escape, and we remained here waiting for you.
I do not care about this human. Neither does Oshitan Obisus. We only want the Forbidden Palace so I could finish what was supposed to happen so long ago.
You mustn't let Azath rise. It goes against everything the Order of Light stands for.
You're wrong. It was clear to me after I was imprisoned for just being me. I saw the future. I saw the present and the past. This universe and all universes are blasphemy. For there to be true order and balance, it must all be destroyed. Life is chaos. Without life, balance will be born.
This is all more complicated than you know, Tsitak.
What should I do now, Tsitak? What can I do to end this?
They are present here, and therefore you know all about them. Transfer their knowledge onto me. I've opened the door.
Mario, you don't know what you're doing. Please fight it. We all believe in you.
It's done.
Oshitan Obisus will be pleased. Therefore, we will let you live out the rest of your existence trapped in your dreams. It'll be a better fate than the rest of the universe.
Thank you, Tsitak. I'm sorry, but I had to do it. I couldn't handle it anymore.
Mario, you now forced us to reveal us something we hoped we didn't have to. It's not too late to save everything, even with the Forbidden Palace being opened. Mario, your biological parents are dream priests because you were brought into existence by us when we used something called a dream machine. It was an invention created to force Azath into slumber, but it had an unintended side effect. It used the power of the medallion and saved us by imprisoning us into another trained priest's mind, the only one saved from our temple in the gate on Jupiter, Tsitak. That's how we learned of the schism within Tsitak. The control gate forced Tsitak's being to split away to create balance. The darkness is all that is left in Tsitak. Because in order to have balance, the light was manifested into something else. It allowed us to hide in your mind because you are technically one of us. Based on this, we have one thing on our side. Tsitak doesn't realize it.
Wait. You're saying that Tsitak is my father?
No, Mario. We're saying that you and Tsitak are the same.
Welcome to the quest for the Green Bull, the rise of Ralu Azath. Wow, what a crazy week. There are still 5 teams alive for 3 wild cards, and Ganymede's division title is still up for grabs. But 3 more teams were eliminated from the playoff race, and the number 2 overall seed and final first round bye was locked up as well. The regular season points record continued to look like it will be broken. I would say most likely, besides some sort of crazy stuff, but the results really gave us a great penultimate week to our regular season. There was one wild game where both teams scored over 140 points, and there were some other surprising upsets as well. But in our we had another fantastic performance by 2 teams in Ganymede, as Remember the Titans hosted the multiple scoregasms at the Polar Caps of Athanasu. Lo and behold, we will have a division title decided in the final week of the regular season. The defending champion, Remember the Titans, kept hopes alive of getting the Ganymede division title and a number 3 seed in the playoffs after a 111.76 to 106.32 win. This one came down to Monday Night Football, and Chris Olave and the multiple scoregasms fell a touchdown short of clinching the division. X-Factor Garrett Wilson had 162 yards, outscoring the X-Factor on the other side, Damian Pierce. Pierce had just 95 yards. A.J. Brown went off for 119 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Saquon Barkley added 81 yards and a score. Justin Fields had a 50-plus yard rushing touchdown. And Greg Zuerlein went nuts with 5 field goals, including a 50-plus yarder. Trade pickup T. Higgins also stepped up by reaching the end zone. On the other side, Josh Allen had 2 touchdowns and Jamal Williams added another score. Amon-Ra St. Brown, the sun god, finished with 116 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jonathan Taylor also had 103 yards, but in the end, 1 touchdown was the difference. Remember the Titans is now 7-6 and needs a win in Week 14 to clinch a wild card, and can also clinch the division with a win and a Scoregasms loss, and by scoring 2 more points than the Scoregasms. The multiple Scoregasms fell to 8-5, but have clinched a playoff berth due to losses by Risky Business and Green Acres. They need to win in Week 14 or get a Remember the Titans loss to win the Ganymede Division title and get the number 3 seed in the playoffs. In the other Ganymede battle, AR's Ayahuasca Plant traveled to the Temple of Tsitak to take on the Stellar Bitches. AR's Ayahuasca Plant needed a win to remain alive in the playoff race, and they took care of business in a 112.78 to 77.8 win. Adams was a beast with 177 yards and 2 touchdowns, and Metcalf added 127 yards and a score. Aaron Rodgers had a touchdown, and Montgomery and Sanders also reached the end zone. Carlson and the Commanders' defense combined for 19 points. And there were even points left on the bench, with Watson scoring twice and the Broncos' defense doing better than Washington. The Stellar Bitches had 3 scores by Dak Prescott, and McLaurin finished with 105 yards and a touchdown. Davis also reached the end zone, and the Chargers' defense even had a touchdown. But it wasn't enough, as the Stellar Bitches became the first team in league history to finish winless at home, going 0-7 at the Temple of Tsitak. They are 2-11 and are guaranteed to be the bottom seed in the consolation playoffs. AR's Ayahuasca Plant is now 6-7 and needs a win and a little bit of help to make the playoffs with a week to go. Moving on to Europa with my Dark Ridge Dreamers hosting the clash at Demon Head, the icy caverns of Varangier. And with the first round bye on the line, my Dreamers stepped up with an 89.06 to 71.74 win. Trade pickup Swift stepped up in his Dreamers debut with 111 total yards and a touchdown, outscoring one of the players that were traded for him, Latavius Murray, by 11 points. Lawrence had a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, while Garoppolo had a season-ending injury that cost the clash at Demon Head. Robinson finished with 111 yards, and Jefferson had 56 yards and a touchdown. Engram also scored at the tight end position, and the Ravens' defense allowed 9 points and had 2 sacks. McCaffrey and Lamb were 2 bright spots for the clash at Demon Head. McCaffrey finished with 146 yards and a touchdown, and Lamb had 94 yards and a score. My Dark Ridge Dreamers are now 9-4 overall and have clinched the number 2 overall seed in a first-round bye. The clash at Demon Head fall to 4-9 and are officially eliminated from the playoffs. In the other Europa matchup, Uncle Justy hosted Loki Lebowski Thor at the Water Volcanoes of Kolbak. In a game where the losing squad would be eliminated, Loki Lebowski Thor won 63.6 to 56.34. Herbert finished with 335 passing yards and a touchdown, and Cook added 83 yards and a score. Uncle Justy had 118 yards by Bam Knight and 97 yards by Chase, had 90 yards by Slayton as well. The Eagles' defense also allowed 10 points and collected 6 sacks. But the decision to bench Tagovailoa for Watson was a grave mistake. Lebowski Thor moved to 6-7, and while not mathematically eliminated, the season is pretty much over based on other results, because in order to get in, several teams would need to finish 7-7 to force a points tiebreaker for 5th, and Lebowski Thor is currently 200 points behind. 2-time semifinalist Uncle Justy is now officially eliminated, falling to 4-9. Next, we move on to the EO division, where Green Acres hosted the Elite Mother Tuckers at the Lava Castle of Drusus. This was one of the most wild games of the season, by the way, and another league record was broken as the Elite Mother Tuckers pulled out the 153.2 to 142.14 win. Yes, that is an insane scoreline. The Elite Mother Tuckers moved to 12-1 overall to break the league record for wins in a regular season and continue to add to the record for the longest winning streak with 12, only losing way back in week 1. They're also just 33.06 points away from breaking the regular season points record and are also a win or a tie away from breaking the league record for the least losses in a regular season. The number 1 overall seed had 380 passing yards and 4 touchdowns by Jalen Hurts and 150 yards and a score by Josh Jacobs, Lockett added 128 yards and a touchdown, and Tyreek Hill picked up 146 yards and a score. Gold kicked 4 field goals, including 3 40-plus yarders, and the Cowboys' defense had 3 sacks, 3 interceptions, 2 fumble recoveries, and a touchdown. On the other side, Green Acres had a great game too, taking one of the toughest losses of any team this season after topping 140 points. Burrow had 286 passing yards, 46 rushing yards, and 3 touchdowns. Perrine added 155 yards, and Allen added 88 yards and a touchdown. Diggs scored again and had 92 yards, and the Browns' defense went insane with 12 points allowed, 2 interceptions, 2 fumble recoveries, and 3 touchdowns, including a kickoff return for a score. The difference ended up being at tight end and kicker, with the elite Mother Tuckers getting an 11.1 point advantage over Green Acres. Green Acres falls to 6-7 and now needs to win in Week 14 and also needs a little help to get into the playoffs. Lastly, in the other EO matchup, the league wildcard race was given a massive twist when the Siamese Dreamcats hosted Risky Business at the Ship Graveyards at Beatrix Lane. The Dreamcats pulled off the 93.04 to 66.92 win to keep 3 playoff berths in play going into the final week with 5 teams vying for a playoff spot. And it came with Lamar Jackson suffering a knee injury and severely limiting the Dreamcats' output. The Colts defense also had negative points, but so many stepped up too. Pollard had 106 yards and 2 touchdowns. Elliott finished with 91 yards and a score. Pacheco collected 82 yards and a touchdown, and Devontae Smith had 102 yards and a score. Kirk added 104 yards, and Koo collected 3 field goals, including 2 over 50 yards. Risky Business had key injuries too. Mixon was out with a concussion, and Walker hurt his ankle early. Sutton also left early with a hamstring injury. Mahomes had a pedestrian game as well for his standards with 223 passing yards and 2 scores. Dillon did step up with 119 yards and a touchdown, but 6 other players had 6 or less points. Kelsey also had his worst game of the season with a lost fumble and had under 4 points. The Dreamcats moved to 7-6 overall and are in a great position to get into the playoffs, only needing a win. Risky Business also just needs a win to get in at 7-6. Both can get into the playoffs depending on other factors, even if they lose next week. So now we're set up for a drama-filled regular season finale where anything can happen and no teams in the playoff race are safe. Winning is a must to avoid needing help, but some teams need help anyway. 2 matchups will essentially be play-in games, though 2 teams do need other things to happen. And the regular season points record is most likely going to fall on Sunday, early on Sunday. There's also the final rivalry award of the season on the line. So yes, it will be an insane week before the playoffs begin. And that's the content for the show. Hope you enjoyed it. Join me tomorrow when we get some insight into why our home bases are so important to the Shadows and Tsitak. And we will preview the final matches of the 2022 regular season. Until next time, salut, and check out the updated power rankings before you go.